You know, all those incredible, mind-blowing images coming from AI? We see them everywhere. But have you ever stopped to wonder how they actually work? Well, a really fascinating new paper suggests the secret isn't about adding more complexity. It's about going back to a simple, powerful idea that almost everyone seems to have overlooked.
So check this out. This is the magic trick, right? How does an AI start with this thing on the left, which is just pure, chaotic television static, and somehow end up with this on the right, a totally sharp, photorealistic parrot? I mean, the whole process seems almost impossible. It's like trying to build a sculpture out of smoke.
But here's the secret, and it's super counterintuitive. It turns out most of these powerful AI models aren't really creating an image from a blank canvas at all. They're actually professional denoisers. Yeah, they start with 100% noise, and they're trained to see the faint ghost of an image inside it. Then step by step, they just clean it up until a clear picture emerges. Wild, right? Okay, but there's a catch, a big one. The most popular method for doing this, what's called noise prediction, where the AI tries to predict the noise it needs to remove. Well, it runs smack into a massive wall, and it's a problem that gets exponentially worse as our images get bigger and more detailed. Just think about it for a second. Asking a computer to perfectly describe pure, random noise is an incredibly difficult, almost impossible task. For a high-res image with millions of pixels, the number of ways that noise can be arranged is, well, it's astronomically large. It's like trying to describe the exact location of every single grain of sand on a beach. And you know, this challenge actually has a name in machine learning. It's called the curse of dimensionality. As you add more and more dimensions, in our case, more pixels, this space of all possibilities just explodes. The AI gets completely lost in this vast empty space, and its predictions they start to completely break down.
So how do you fix this? How do you get around that curse? Well, this paper proposes a really elegant solution by going back and reviving a classic idea from the early days of machine learning.
I absolutely love how this image visualizes the problem. See all those scattered dots? That's the infinite, chaotic universe of all possible pixel combinations. But that curvy grid, that represents something called the manifold. It's a small, structured surface where all the real images, things like parrots and people and landscapes, actually live.
And this is the core idea, the manifold assumption. It's this long-held theory that even though an image has millions of pixels, the combinations that make up coherent, real-world pictures aren't random at all. They follow very specific patterns and structures. They occupy this tiny, orderly little island in an endless ocean of pure chaos.
And here is the aha moment. The old method, predicting noise, forces the AI to wander around in that vast, chaotic wilderness off the manifold. But the new method proposed in the paper is so much simpler. Just predict the clean image directly. Don't worry about the noise. This keeps the AI on that familiar, structured highway, the manifold itself.
Now, it's a beautiful theory, right? It sounds great on paper, but does it actually hold up when you put it to the test? Well, the researchers did exactly that. So the big question for the researchers was, does this back-to-basics approach of just predicting the final image actually outperform the standard, more complicated method of predicting the noise? Let's find out.
They started with a simple toy experiment to see what would happen. On the left, the new method, predicting the image, is perfectly sharp. But on the right, the old noise prediction method is already getting fuzzy and distorted. You can literally see the difference, and the cracks are already starting to show.
In this slide, wow, this just brilliantly illustrates what happens when they crank the difficulty way up to a 524-dimensional space. The new method on the left still nails it, a perfect, clean spiral. But the old method on the right, it completely collapses. It just can't handle the curse of dimensionality and produces nothing but a bunch of random dots. It's a total catastrophic failure. And the results on real images are even more staggering. They tested this on the massive ImageNet dataset. Now, looking at this FID score, where lower is better, the new method of predicting the image scores an incredible 8.62. And the old method of predicting noise, it gets a score of 372. I mean, it is not even in the same league. It's not even close.
And just to connect those numbers to a picture, if you're wondering what a terrible score like 372 actually looks like, well, it looks like this. This is what happens when the AI fails to find the manifold, gets totally lost in the static, and is completely unable to generate a coherent image.
So, what is the big takeaway from all this? Well, this simple shift in perspective, this return to basics, has some really powerful implications for the future of AI.
For starters, this new approach is just simpler, it's more efficient, and it's incredibly robust.
It can handle extremely high-dimensional data without breaking a sweat, and it does it all without needing a lot of complex, pre-trained parts. This really opens the door to using this kind of tech in other scientific fields where the data is super complex, like designing new proteins or discovering new molecules.
I think the authors just summarize it perfectly with this quote. It's a powerful reminder that we should focus our amazing AI models on the task they're actually best at, learning the beautiful, underlying structure of real-world data, not getting lost trying to model the chaos of random noise.
And really, it leaves us with a fascinating question to chew on. In a field that is moving at lightning speed, a field that's obsessed with more complexity and bigger models, this research shows that sometimes the most profound breakthroughs come from taking a step back and just rethinking our most basic assumptions. So you have to wonder, what else have we overlooked?